Kyra is a marketing strategist, podcast host, and creative entrepreneur. She is the founder of Studio Wonderwell, where she helps entrepreneurs bring their brand ideas to life through strategy and storytelling. She also hosts Glow Up Gyrl, podcast creating space for real conversations with women about chasing dreams and navigating life's challenges. Most recently, she launched Whimsy Wonder Collective, a passion project offering joyful goods and cozy kits for curious minds. Join us as we discuss relationships, how we choose to think about others, more from the Whimsical collection, and how not to feel depressed or lonely by increasing your intimacy with God during this season. This is another great one. Welcome to She Leads Boldly, the podcast for faith-driven women navigating high-stakes leadership without compromising what matters most. I am Sharika Sanders, your host, mentor, and kingdom business leader. Here, we embrace bold leadership rooted in purpose, not pressure. This space is for the woman who refuses to choose between faith and ambition, family and fulfillment, impact and rest. Each week, you'll hear powerful conversations, practical strategies, and spirit-led wisdom to help you advocate for yourself, lead with integrity, and rise without burnout. If you're ready to lead boldly, live faithfully, and never settle for less than what God has promised, you're in the right place. Hello and welcome. First of all, I am so thankful that you are here. Just from our prior conversations, I have been blessed. So I know that today others will be blessed. And so you're welcome to everyone listening. And thank you, Kyra, for being here with us today.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Sharika. And I echo the sentiment meeting you. And I was actually telling my mom the story yesterday about how we met. And I was saying, I truly think God it's always a plan. I said,
Yes.
because she and I, so we sort of went through a couple of moves on our time. We had some things and we had to shift. But when we got together, I said it was just perfect and great alignment. And I said, and it has just flowed from there. And then I was like, and guess what? Mom, she lives not too far from me. And I was like, and you just don't find that, often. Like we meet so many people. So I'm really, really grateful, to have connected to you and to be here on your show today.
Oh, thank you. Same. And that just goes to show, number one, that God's timing is always perfect.
Amen.
Everything happens when it's supposed to. I was telling someone recently how up until probably 2-3 years ago, and I've been married now for 16 years, and until probably 2 or 3 years ago, I only had single friends. And it wasn't intentional. Well, outside of my husband's friends who were married and when we do things together, but like my core friends, they were all single, and it's just out of how it all seemed to work. And as I've shifted my relationship more and being more intentional and purposeful about my relationship with God and walking into who he wants me to be and who he's called me to be, I'm meeting not only kingdom women, but other married kingdom women. And I just know he was probably like, you weren't ready for that then. I needed to fix some things in your mindset first. And so I'm so appreciative of that to when I come across someone who's so like-minded. And like you said, it just flows. Like there's no pretense, there's no nervousness. It's just like, somebody I've been talking to, been knowing for years now. So
yes. And I think that's the thing that is so amazing, because I was like, man, and I was telling my husband, and he was like, wait, and you met her when? I was like, just recently. It hasn't been that long. I was like, but it just literally feels like I've known her forever. And I said, and we just like pick up like we were just talking yesterday. I said, and that to me is pretty cool. And like you mentioned, especially as you get older, like you think like it's hard, it is hard. It's hard for people to find friends in general. But as you get older and you have more like, a life and a routine and a schedule and all those things, it seemingly feels like it would be harder to find people. But like you mentioned, I am always in prayer that God will send me the people that He wants to be
Yes.
in my life. Like
Yes.
we done with the, oh, I met somebody and I think they
Right.
cool. Like we're
Right.
at the place of like, no, bring the people who you want, who we can nurture each other, and people
Mm-hmm.
who are, doing the thing like I'm doing the thing that I can learn from. And I've never leaned more into the feeling of you have to be around people who are smarter than you, people who are elevated, people who feel like they're doing the thing that you want to be doing. Like
Yes.
those are the people.
Yes. I even tell my children now, if you're the smartest one, if you're the ist anything in your group, you need a new group. Like it's
Right. Yes.
because they are
Yep.
definitely benefiting, but you're not growing.
Exactly.
You're stuck. And so, and that's a valid point. I think for us as people, period, we're consistently growing and evolving. And you have to find people who are able to grow and evolve with you
Exactly.
and or open as well to your growth and your evolving your because you know
Hmm.
how I heard someone recently say how in their business when their business really started to become successful, and this is a kingdom woman, so she already had her relationship with Christ and all of those things, so her
Hmm.
friends and family knew that about her.
Hmm.
But she said when her business started to prosper and God really just started to like, they were making monthly where they were making annually. And she said how many people would just say, oh, she was like, even in the church, like you've changed, you've this, you that. And she was like, well, I'm supposed to. I, I'm evolving.
Yeah.
I shouldn't still be thinking about the things I thought about in
Right.
poverty or before Christ or before I was in this new place. And I think sometimes we get stuck in that, even in the friend place, because it's, oh, this is my friend who we've been friends for 20 years. And,
Hmm.
so we have to stay friends. Well, maybe it's time for that season to end.
Hmm. Yes.
Maybe it's time for a new season. And that doesn't mean you all can't communicate, but maybe the type of relationship you have has to change because
Hmm.
you're now a different person and you need a different type of person around
Hmm.
you who's feeding into you, who you
Hmm.
can pour into as well and can become better together.
Yes. And I'm so glad you said that because I think that's so important. As I find, especially with women, it's so hard for people to like recognize that a season has changed. And
Mhm.
especially when it comes, like you said, to friendships. And it's like, like I've had people that I've gone through life with who were like best friends to me.
Yeah.
And then the seasons just changed. Something
Yeah.
happened in their life where their life evolved in a different way. It
Hmm.
didn't mean that I stopped caring about them or loving
Right.
them or
Right.
rooting and cheering for them. It just means that maybe we don't have the same things in common anymore. And
Hmm.
that's okay. Like I can be really proud of you and happy for you over here, but we just don't
Hmm.
like this, we don't have the same like sort of sets of like
Yeah.
things that we're working toward. The goals aren't the same right now. And
Yeah.
so it's important for people to like be able to like understand that and feel like you haven't like someone hasn't let you down or you haven't let someone down. It's just
Yeah.
you've allowed them the space to grow into who God is calling them to be. And that means it frees you to grow into the person that he is allowing you to evolve to. So I think if we can, I think we'd be like so much better if we could just let that go and be like,
Yes.
okay, cool. Look at her doing her thing over there.
Hmm. Hmm. Or even the flip side, where you've now grown and you're not seeing that growth in the other person, and they've
Hmm.
accepted that this is where you are now, but you're like, well, why aren't you here either? Or
Yeah,
this is what you need to do it may not be their time. And
exactly.
you may not be the person that's supposed to get them to that point.
Exactly. Most times you
So,
aren't.
right.
Most times you aren't. Like, so you have to just allow, like, we just have to be okay with like trusting. Like we say, we
Yeah.
trust God and we want to follow, we're going to follow the path, the journey, but then we're like holding on to something that is no longer like serving us.
Mm,
And just, you have to, once you are able to like let those people fly, or
mm,
they let you fly, and
mm,
then things will be looking up for both of you. I mean, I just
yeah.
kind of look at it as like the people who have been in my life at different seasons, they've served a purpose. I've
Mm,
learned from them. I've loved them. I've grown with them in those moments. We
mm-hmm.
had a good time, but like and I took nothing from that, but like, oh, great. That was a great moment. Like, but it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not sad about the fact that I don't talk to some people now. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I'm not like, yeah, and I think that's just the thing. It's like, yeah, don't be sad about it, because life is a journey, and
Mm-hmm.
you're evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, sometimes you have to, either some people have to leave you behind to evolve, and sometimes you have to lead people to evolve.
Hey, sis, can we pause for a quick moment? If you've been feeling that tug to go deeper, to become the wife God actually called you to be, not just the one the world expects, I have something special for you. Join me on January 10th, 2026 for Becoming Her, the Wife God Called, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a day designed for ambitious, faith filled wives and moms and wives in waiting to reconnect with God's pace, surrounded by powerful speakers, luxury gift bags, amazing food, and a sisterhood that gets it. Tickets are just $50, but seats are limited. And trust me, they'll go fast. And if you're a brand or business that believes in empowering women of faith, there are sponsorship opportunities available too. So don't wait. Head to Transform the Gap, that's GAAP.com. Click events to grab your ticket or learn more about partnering with us. Now let's get back to today's episode. Yeah, absolutely. I had a friend. We met when we were like 18 and best friends, best of buds. And we loved to party together and all of those things that kids do in the late teens, early 20s, and as life, and she got married and I got married, and we just kind of drifted, and we kept in touch.
Hmm.
Probably honestly would talk about twice a year. We would do the
Hmm.
birthday texts and things like that. We may, but it was always just catching up. But we both knew that it wasn't what it was before,
Right.
because even our types of conversation shifted. But what was such a blessing for me was a couple of years ago when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And we didn't really talk like that. So I didn't really, it's not like I didn't think to let her know. But
Right.
when we did happen to, one of our texts, conversations happened to pop up, and I mentioned it, and I was like, oh, hey, this happened, but I'm okay. And
Hmm.
I don't know, it was because she lives out of town, but I would probably say within a month, she was like, what's your new address? I'm in town and I'm coming by. And she was like, I just needed to put eyes on you and see you and know that you were okay. And that
Yes.
meant so much because
Hmm.
we weren't in the same space anymore,
Right.
but we respected each other's journey and where we are, to the
Yes.
point where we could, still see each other and spend that time and then
Hmm.
go back to, our
Yeah.
separate ways, and it's all love. But I think that's just what growth is. It's respecting
Yes.
that and respecting where each person is in their
Hmm.
walk or in their journey,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
understanding you may not need to be a part of it.
Exactly.
But what were you? I think I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, no, I was gonna say I love that. I mean, I agree. I think that is respect, and that's growth and maturity.
Hmm.
And I love that she said, I just need to put eyes on you. I love that. And I think like that is so meaningful, because even though it shows like there's still a connection. Like you
Hmm.
may not have a we need to talk every day, we need to hang
Right.
out
Right.
connection anymore, but it's still like that's a meaningful connection, because
Yeah.
she cared enough to come and make sure that you were okay. Like
Hmm.
no, let me just see you,
Hmm.
and make sure like you're good. And I
Hmm.
like I respect that.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you what doesn't work for me. I also had a friend who we were close. One of those people who I saw, well, go back. I saw something online one day and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And it said that work will have you being 27-year-old, you at 27 with a 54-year-old best friend, like, where's Mr. Otis today? And this was like, and I was like, that is so true. Because I've had a couple of those people who I would come home talking about this person every day, and they would think, oh, you guys are, they're 20 years old or whatever,
They
older
grown.
than the kids are my age. But I had this one friend who was kind of that relationship, and we had met at work, and we would talk often because we worked together. So I see you pretty much every day. And then I used to take, because we worked downtown, so we would take the train in. So I would see you on the train a lot of mornings too, and in the afternoons until we, split to go our separate stops. So yes, I talked to you a lot. But then when we went to work for somewhere different, I think she ended up going somewhere else. And so we didn't talk as much. And so she would call and say, stranger, I hadn't heard from you. And I was like, oh my, oh,
No. Yeah,
or,
that just yeah.
yeah, it triggers something, doesn't it? And it's like, I, I mean, I know it's been some time, but I thought we could, pick up where you left off. Hey,
Yeah.
how's it going? Whatever. But it became like, oh my gosh, I hadn't talked to her in 2 days. Let me make sure I call her and say something, because if not, I'm gonna
Oh.
get like a voicemail or a text, and I used to be like, this is not healthy.
Right. Yeah. You're going to get the stranger, the stranger's
Right.
text. I mean, yeah, that definitely does not work. And those relationships feel so toxic.
Yes.
Because yeah, I've had people like that where it's like, why don't you maybe ask? Because I think what happens to like when you're the person who does the checking in with people,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? When you don't check in, then it's like people, instead of people checking to say, hey, I
Yeah.
just wanted to see how you were
Yeah.
doing. I mean, I hadn't heard from you in a while.
Right.
But when people hit you with a, hey stranger, what's up?
Right.
Like the what's up kind of text. No, 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 we're not,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
maybe something has happened. Like you
Yeah.
don't know what people are going through. So you
Yeah.
have to give people grace in that sense all the time. And then maybe once you ask me politely like how I'm
Hmm.
doing and what's happening, and maybe I said, "Oh wow, yeah, it's been a rough couple of months or so,
Hmm.
whatever." Then then just keep talking. But if
Hmm.
the only way you know how to approach somebody is with like sarcasm or
Yeah.
anger because they didn't reach out to you,
Yeah.
but it goes both ways. You have a phone too.
Right. I didn't
And
think you knew
you
this number. Well, maybe I don't anymore.
yeah,
You know?
like you have a phone too, and you're capable of making a text or call
Yes.
just like me. I mean,
Yes.
it's just, but I have learned that like people's lives don't revolve around you or me.
Mm-mm.
Even when
Mm-mm.
you're friends with people
Yes.
have a lot. The world is heavy right now. There's a lot
Yes.
happening. A lot of people are just holding on. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people are just making
Mm-hmm.
it. So I never take personally when I don't hear from someone.
Yeah.
And then if I'm so worried about what that person is doing, that I pick up my phone and just say, "Hey, I was just
Mm-hmm.
thinking about you. Didn't want anything. Just wanted
Right.
to say hi and
Right.
keep it moving."
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's just holding space for wherever people are. And I'll even say one time with that same person, one time she did call and I was like, am I in the mood for this today? Because I knew it had been a while. And I
Yeah.
was like, let's just get it over with. And so she did her whole, I ain't heard from you and this, that. And I just let her go. And she's like, what are you doing? And at the time I had gotten my appendix taken out. So I was still in the hospital. And even though I
Mm.
just got in the hospital, and maybe a little bit messy for me, I wanted to like, and I was like, oh, I'm in the hospital. And she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. And
Oh, yeah,
you
you
just let
did
me
know.
talk and say, but that's why you shouldn't have. And that was
Right.
perfectly fine. But I'm like, you don't know where
Exactly.
a person is when or what kind of day they have had. And maybe God put you in them in your spirit to call them, to lift them up, or to
Right.
hear a familiar voice, a friendly voice, or
Mhm.
whatever. But when you call with the rah rah, and
Yeah.
you're like, what?
You've already failed the assignment.
Right,
Like
exactly.
he was like, next.
Exactly. hmm
Oh.
Exactly. So I think it's really just holding space. I have a friend now, and we talk often, but not really. And what I mean by that is our schedules hardly ever seem to align. And
Mhm.
a lot of times I purposely won't call people because I know that whatever, even if I'm just saying, hey, I'm checking in, 45 minutes later, we still going. And so if I have
Yeah.
something to do, I'm like, maybe I'll send a text, or I'll wait, and I'll wait and I'll wait, and then it doesn't happen. And so one thing that she and I do, we leave voice messages. And I can do
Yeah.
those because I can do that while I'm driving. I can do that if I have a random thought about something, because I do those sometimes too. But anything, and I'll call, and because I have this great gift of gab, I can go through, and this happened, and then this, and did I tell you this already? And I forgot to mention, and just let me know about blah, blah, and send. And I'm like, okay, now we've had our
You've had a
contact.
conversation. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh.
I love a good voice note. Yeah, I definitely
Yes.
like whenever I got something good, I'm like, let me just, because I don't want to text. Like, I'm
Yeah.
even though it's text, I'm like, I don't feel like doing all that. Let me just leave
Yeah.
it. Let me voice it to you. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's important. That's again a very like mature and, grown person like approach to the fact that we know people have
Mm-hmm.
lives. And even though
Mm-hmm.
we love people and we're friends with people and even friends that feel like family, it's still people have lives and they're busy. And
Yeah.
so people are trying to figure out, like, I have this number of hours in a day, and then don't get to the weekend. You get to the weekend, I mean, and what used to seem so simple is like, oh, yeah,
Right.
we'll have lunch on the weekends. That's become a lot harder. I've noticed in the last like 5 years with people, and I don't trip about it. I always tell people, like, look, if we can't get together personally, let's just get on a Zoom or whatever.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
that is still an
Yep.
option. We can still
Mm-hmm.
do that. We can still see each other
Yep.
without like, physically like being in the same space if
Mm-hmm.
we just desire each other's company and presence. And I think like people should still lean into that versus like feeling like it's got to be, I've got to
Yeah.
meet up with you at break. No, why don't you
Yeah.
grab your breakfast on a Saturday morning? Get together at like eight
Yeah.
o'clock before the day starts for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and just
Mm-hmm.
have coffee together, do something,
Yeah.
just talk. So I'm
It's so
more
many ways. Go ahead.
exactly. Yeah, you just have to lean into like unconventional ways of doing things today in this time, in my opinion.
That, and take yourself out of it,
Mm-hmm.
not, taking it personal. Oh, they haven't called me, or I haven't talked to them. And well, like you said, people have so many different things going on. It's not that they have forgotten, or maybe that not even that they didn't think about you, but lives. And I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
you even making that comment too about, like, having not being able to get together on the weekend, or doing this. People have so many things going on. And I've even heard people, oh, well, I have kids and they don't have kids. So I don't know why they are so busy, and I have more time than that's not your business. And who
Exactly.
is it for us to determine what level of busy someone is because of what
Hmm.
we have valued in their life, the value that we've
Yes.
placed on things in their life? It could be somebody that's completely single, but they have things to do.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
have things to go, places to go, things to see. And so it doesn't matter how important it is to you, it's important to them and what they have to do. And so, yes, I love that. The non-traditional, or which now is really becoming more traditional, like the Zoom conversations and the
Hmm.
Zoom catch-ups, and even with the family calls and voice text, and all of these different ways that if we really want to show someone that, hey, you were on my mind, there are so many different ways
Hmm.
that we
Yeah.
can do that. And that's even for if you're that person who says, you know what, I need to call Sharika, but she is going to talk for 35 minutes and I only have 5. So I'm just going to send her this quick message, just so
Yeah.
she knows she was on my mind. And that way
Hmm.
she can have, she was in my spirit, and I've been obedient to that, but
Hmm.
also still prioritize the things that I need to do on my end.
Mm-hmm.
So I love those thoughts and tips. And I think that that's just something important to remember because sometimes we make things so personal.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as we think about the time of year and how, especially going into holidays or around the holiday time,
Mm-hmm.
they talk about people get so depressed and sad and all the
Yeah.
things because everybody may not have that family or that group
Mm-hmm.
or that community
Right.
to, with or someone that they want to share those things with. But I think it's in that time, number one, that we lean in into our relationship with God and really become intentional and intimate in that time with Him. But then
Mm-hmm.
also be intentional about have that person may be having a holiday party
Mm-hmm.
but you hadn't talked to them in 8 months, so maybe they did forget
Yeah.
to invite. It wasn't anything personal, but they did
Yeah.
forget. So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to reach out and just say hello, just to see, you know what I mean? Instead of, oh,
Yeah.
now we're not talking anymore ever because you didn't invite me to the party. Or maybe you wouldn't have liked anyone there anyway, and they knew
Yeah.
that. And so they were trying to
Yeah.
be,
Mm-hmm.
respectful to you, but I would just say be intentional and even find ways where you can help. If you have all of this time on your hand, go volunteer somewhere. Help pass
Mm-hmm.
out food because that gives you a fulfillment that you can't even put words
Yeah.
to. Go pass out food. Go, help it's at the shelters or
Mm-hmm.
in your local church. There are just so many different things
Mm-hmm.
that we can do where we really don't have to have because we rely on people so much
Mm-hmm.
for and make them responsible for our happiness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We want them to fulfill us, and
Yeah.
they can't do that. Only you and a relationship with God first can do that for you. But like you mentioned, all the things, like all being intentional about, who you're communicating with, who you're reaching out to. Like my therapist always talks about, the holiday season, and
Mm-hmm.
they see an increase in sessions because people who
Mm-hmm.
feel alone. And, if you haven't leaned into it, therapy is also a really good opportunity to have someone to talk about how you feel as well, just so you don't feel alone. And also too, I think like you mentioned, there are online communities. I think
Yeah.
sometimes we have that fear of rejection, but there are
Yeah.
so many other people who are just seeking the same things. And there are a lot of communities online. There are a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
Facebook communities,
Yeah.
groups where you can find people who, you may just be able to like connect and build like a relationship with, and
Mm-hmm.
it might start virtually. Like do
Yeah.
it virtually or, sort of seek it, seek out and
Mm-hmm.
try to find it. Like get a lot of it is, us with fear of
Yep.
rejection
Yep.
and just getting out of our own way. Like get out of your own way and open yourself up to something, step outside of the box and do
Mm-hmm.
something different. And I say that because like we all are like set in our own ways and we have, and especially the older you get, you realize more and more. It's like, oh wow, like I'm this person. Like this is and so you can just try and find other ways. So you don't have to necessarily be alone during the holidays. Sharika gave a lot of great things. I mean, like leaning into your church and helping go into shelters, and helping other people. I mean, nothing feels better, in my opinion, than like giving to other people. That's one of the things I love doing. Like, let me
Yeah.
give to somebody else. I love seeing people like light
Yes.
up when they didn't think somebody was thinking about them or they were going to
Yeah.
get this thing. And just being able to help somebody else is always simply a blessing in itself. But
Mm-hmm.
you meet other people that are like-minded, because if you are volunteering and then you meet other people that are volunteering, y'all probably have a lot of things, more things in common than not.
Yes.
So it is just like challenge yourself to do the one thing. Maybe there's a physical thing that you do, which is like going to a shelter event or adopting a family or doing something
Mm.
like that for the holiday. And then maybe there's a virtual thing that you do where you reach out to someone if you're in a community. I mean, we're all in
Hmm.
some kind of Facebook community that you forgot you were
Right.
in. And you
Right.
forgot you were in, and you like,
Uh-huh.
oh. And then another thing you could do, I mean, if you have neighbors, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
even, like I am guilty of like not being the best. The best. Like all my neighbors are really cool. Like my neighbors are all really cool. And we all like talk, we talk when we see each other.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wish and need to and need challenge myself to be more intentional about like saying, oh, okay, maybe on this day I'm gonna walk over and like chat with this person.
Hmm.
But sometimes it ends up where I like one of my neighbors is a notary. And as
Mm.
I profusely apologize to her every time I go over there and ask her to notarize something, and I'm like, I know I'm the worst. I like quite literally am terrible. And I was like, let me pay you. And she's always like, no, no, I got it. You don't have to pay me. I'm like, please let me pay you. And then I end up over there, just like you were saying earlier. I end up over
Yeah.
there like an hour plus
Yeah.
talking. And I'm like, wow, like if you just talked more frequently, then
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to be over here talking for like, because my husband would be like, text me something. What you doing? I mean, I thought you went over there
Yeah.
to get something notarized and you've been over there for a whole
Right.
hour. I
Right.
was like, I know we were just talking. And so, so like sort of lean into like the people in your community and see if there are people who have similar interests because you'd be
Yeah.
shocked once you talk to people and find out
Hmm.
that like a lot of people have similar, like I found out like my neighbor, well, it's more so her husband that plays golf than her. I mean, she has clubs but she's really just there. She's just there for the vibes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, which I was like, yeah, we could go here, but she didn't really seem like she was in. She just wanted to wear the cute outfit. And I was
Right.
like,
Right.
okay, well, I really want to play with somebody who like wants to play because I need to get better. I'm hoping to learn. But I mean,
Right.
but still, it's something that I didn't even know,
Hmm.
because I had not taken the time to like really dig deeper. So, make like again, challenge yourself with your neighbors, a volunteer
Yeah.
opportunity, and then
Yeah.
maybe an online community.
Those are some great ideas and suggestions. So I hope you all are taking note in or taking notes even of just,
Hmm.
some different ways that we can step out because oftentimes we may complain about, oh, I don't have any friends here, or I'm by myself, or I don't really have that close of a relationship with my family, or all of these different things. And it's like, okay, well, what have you done? Well, I go to work and I come home. Oh, okay. And so at what point in that route in your car did you expect for these additional interactions to take place? Are you near a local park or a trail or something, even things like that? And you can go, if you went to, I remember going to even a park that's by me now, but years before where I used to stay, there was this trail and I would go walk the trail because I did it around the same time. I would see consistent, some of the same people. And then
Hmm.
you can build relationships, have conversations. Hey, are you going to be out here tomorrow? Maybe we can extend our walk a little bit more because it's two of us and not just the one person, or, any
Right.
of those things. And now you all are helping each other and holding each other accountable for your goals.
Hmm.
So it's just really stepping out of your comfort zone because we don't grow when we're comfortable.
Hmm.
So if you're wondering if you're growing, but you're really comfortable in the space that you're in, you're probably not. Um, and so I I I thank you for this. And just a side note for those listening. So there really was a separate topic for today, but when the spirit does what it does, and like we said at the beginning of this conversation, things can just flow. And I think the direction that our conversation flowed in was the direction that someone needed to hear today. And so I'm so thankful for you, Kyra, for being here with us. And please, for those listening and want to hear more, can you tell us more about Glow Up Gyrl and your air date times and all the things? Because I know you just have so much to share.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I actually have a lot to share. So I'll start. So I'm Kyra again. And really, like we've talked about, really at the heart of everything that I do and that I love is like really helping people. And
Right.
I myself am a dreamer. So I really like helping people who are dreamers, who dream really big, help them bring those dreams to life through all the work that I do. So one of my companies is Studio Wonderwell, and that is where I consult entrepreneurs, help them like shape their brand stories and strategies to help build a new brand or a current brand. With Glow Up Gyrl, which is like my baby, Glow Up Gyrl is a community and also the podcast lives there.
Mm-hmm.
I do get to talk to like great people. I get to have really amazing conversations with people about the highs, the lows, and the lessons that they've learned on their journeys, because I always feel it's really important for
Yeah.
people to tell you about the messy stuff more so than the stuff where it was like, oh yeah, and then I was making all this money and I quit my job. So I like to we like to really dig into like the actual like lessons they learned and really people who provide tangible resources of
Mm-hmm.
how they did something, because I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people like don't come on my show if you're not willing to share like the how you did it.
Yes.
And the last part of my business is the Whimsy and Wonder Collective. So that allows me to really lean into the playful side. We just got finished talking about connecting with people. At the heart of all of it, I'm really a homebody. Like I love being in my house and doing cozy things like puzzles and journaling and coloring and building things. But that brand, Whimsy and Wonder Collective, it really allows for me to lean into that side, and I create like cozy creative kits and gifts that really help people spark like intentional joy and for people who are really curious about things. I think as we get older, a lot of times we lose that spark of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Because we feel like, oh my gosh, like I have to work, like I have to go to a job, I have to pay my bills. And I
Right.
think we lose that sense of wonder.
Yeah.
And for me, this brand really allows for me to lean into that. So with really everything that I do, it is all about like storytelling and creativity and building spaces that help people feel inspired.
Thank you. So I think there's definitely some great paraphernalia that can be purchased for
Yeah.
those listening, for loved ones, to let them know that you were thinking about them, to let them know to glow up, girl. So definitely make sure that you check out Kyra's contact information and website within the notes of the show so you can find out more and make some great intentional, thoughtful gifts for your friends and loved ones. Who doesn't like to get a surprise package in them?
Oh, I know. And that, yeah, and that is really, I'm gonna lean back into Whimsy and Wonder Collective. Like that is everything that is about. Like it is all about like people who enjoy like whimsical things.
Yeah.
Like there is a kit there that's like I loved book fairs growing up. And
Mm,
I have Scholastic Book Fair was, I mean, that
yeah.
$20 going in there. I mean, I was rich and I was in there like, you
Yes.
get a book, you get a bookmark, give me some Lisa Frank. And really with the Book Fair Daydream Kit, it's like it pays a tribute to all those things when we were young. Like there are
Amazing.
bookmarks and stickers, and it's a printable, like so you can purchase it. And I'm gonna say it, $17. It's $17. You can just you can
That's
print it,
amazing.
purchase it and send it to the person. They can print it themselves. And there are other kits like that. The Cozy Night In kit, the Daydreamers desk set, which I mean, like I said, I'm a dreamer. So like having things on my desk that, help me to feel like, I'm dreaming during the day when I'm working is really
Yeah.
important. So yes, like Sharika said, check it out. We're gonna drop. I got I have 3 links. We're gonna drop them all in the site. So wherever you do land, I would love to connect. So, and then also all the links to like the social sites are
Yes.
on the individual sites, but you can also connect to me personally, like on LinkedIn or Instagram as well.
Thank you for that. So there you go. When we talk about thinking of others and just letting somebody know that they were on your mind, and how much of a blessing you can be for someone else, because that's why God blesses us so that we're able to bless others. So I challenge you to think about what is some way, and we just gave you a few, hint, what is some way that I can show love to someone else, friend, family, whatever, coworker. So, I think this season is just one where we can feel best when we're putting others first. And really, I think that's any season, but especially now. So, but thank you so much for another amazing conversation. I am so appreciative of you, glad to know you, and just excited for what God is doing in your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And same to you. I mean, I think this is amazing. I love how you are letting, the spirit guide the conversations. I think that is important. And I love what you're doing. I know you're getting ready to head into season 2. So it's going to be fantastic. So definitely we will keep, look, who knows? We might be showing up again on each other's shows, but I'm definitely grateful and very thankful to God for putting you in my path and giving me a new friend.
Absolutely. So thank you all. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Have the wonderful, and most amazing
Yes.
day, week, holiday, and think about what you can do to allow somebody else to see the God in you. And until next time. Hey, friend, if this episode stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Make sure you subscribe to She Leads Boldly so you never miss an episode. And let's stay connected. Join our growing community of faith-driven powerhouse women where you'll find real talk, encouragement, and tools to fuel your journey. Oh, and I've created something special just for the bold, faith-driven women like you. An ebook, When You Know His Name. Discover identity, intimacy, and the power of prayer through the names of God. This ebook is designed to equip and encourage you to lead with clarity, courage, and conviction in every space God assigns you to. Available now on Amazon. And if you're ready for deeper clarity, I would love to personally walk with you. I offer a one-on-one session called Your Path to Purpose and Power, and it's to help you break through the overwhelm and realign with what God is actually calling you to in this season. Whether it's burnout, boundaries, or fresh vision, you don't have to figure it out alone. All links are in the show notes. Oh, and one last thing. I would love to hear from you. What questions are you carrying this season? What topics would serve your walk, your work, your womanhood right now? Send me a message or an email because this podcast is for you, and I want every episode to speak directly to where you are. Remember, you don't have to choose between your faith, your family, and the calling on your life. God's grace makes room for it all. So until next time, stay anchored in purpose, covered in grace, and always ready to rise. Talk soon, friend.